The massive clean-up effort in New South Wales continues as floodwaters recede and more residents are allowed home to survey the damage. The Prime Minister Scott Morrison and the State Premier Gladys Berejiklian are today visiting inundated communities. Reporter Karen Thomas joins me from Port Macquarie on the mid-north coast, while James Camody is on a boat on Sydney's Hawkesbury River. It's good to see you both. Karen, I'll ask you first. The Prime Minister and Premier have just talked about the devastation they've witnessed today.
That's right, they have, and they spoke to the media after they'd both been doing these separate tours around flood-affected areas of the mid-north coast. So Gladys Berejiklian was in Dumbogan. That's a community on the Camden River, the Camden Haven River system, just to the south of Port Macquarie, where she met some business owners there, a prawn trawler, and also some residents, and just saw the devastation there. The Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, visited a local aqua park and a restaurant that was quite badly affected. And when they spoke to the media just a short time ago, Scott Morrison spoke about some grants that are now available for small businesses and for primary producers that are affected by this natural disaster here on the mid-north coast, and of course affecting a much wider area as well. So grants of $50,000 available for affected small businesses, and grants of $75,000 for primary producers. Of course, we've seen stories of cattle just being washed away and not able to be found, and of dairy farmers as well that are, some of them are able to milk, but they can't get that milk out. But some, their infrastructure that they use for their milking has been badly affected, and of course their cows are suffering quite a lot with not being able to be milked. Here's a little bit of what Scott Morrison had to say in talking about those grants.
It's just not cash, it's a message of hope to each of those producers, and those small businesses are going to need that help who have been directly impacted through these arrangements. The broader clean-up arrangements, they will continue. The ADF support, that's all over and above what we're talking about here.
Karen, what are residents making of the visit as well as the support that's been announced?
Yeah, residents are, just really focused on doing whatever they can to get their own properties and their neighbours' properties, clean. With the sun shining here at the moment, it's really causing trouble with flood water and, flood-affected appliances and furniture and all sorts of stuff like that within their homes. So what we're seeing, I saw it down at Dumbogan just a little bit earlier today, is this amazing community effort where everyone is just banding together. People that might live just a short distance away, but luckily weren't flood affected, and even some people that have been badly flood affected themselves. They're all just getting together with trailers and utes and whatever else they've got to get out there and help their neighbours with getting all this appliances and furniture and all sorts of other things that have been damaged by these floodwaters out of these properties and off to the tip. And it's very early stages, but just one of those early steps to getting life back somewhat to normal, if that's even possible.
OK, from Port Macquarie now to the Hawkesbury River and James Camody. James, bring us up to date with the flood levels, where you are right now.
So I'm on the very swollen Hawkesbury River, thanks to Luke Duthie and Daniel May. These are some Victorian swiftwater operators who are up here helping out. Now, the river is still, you can see behind me the Windsor Bridge. Now, normally a boat can easily pass under that bridge. Right now, the water is touching the underneath of the surface. We've just been further up the Hawkesbury River here and met the Jury family. Chris Jury showed us around her home. Their entire bottom floor was entirely submerged underneath the river. And on the second floor, where they'd shifted all their belongings for safekeeping, it came up to knee height. They couldn't believe it. But they're in there today doing a bit of cleanup, and they're able to do that because the water has started coming down somewhat, but it's still a very swollen Hawkesbury River.
It is. That level is still so very high. I suppose we talk about whether the danger has passed. It's still very much present where you are. What flood warnings are still in place?
Well, that's right. It is still very dangerous. I might go to the experts on this. Daniel, can you tell me what are some of the dangers when floodwaters are still like this?
Yeah, it's certainly a dynamic situation up here, as you mentioned. Some of the biggest dangers for us on the river are floating logs and debris, and certainly members of the public driving through floodwaters. So it's a timely reminder for the public to avoid doing that. Consult your local emergency services personnel and also tune into your local emergency broadcaster.
And it's nice and sunny now, but it's still quite dangerous and is likely to remain so for some time.
Yeah, it certainly is. There's many road closures also in place, so check your local sources for that, and also just stay safe around the roads.
Thanks, Kristen, and thanks to the Victorian Fire and Rescue.
Absolutely. OK, James Camody there on the swollen Hawkesbury River, and earlier Karen Thomas in Port Macquarie. Thank you to both.